What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here, back for my top comps of 12.15. This was actually a relatively light patch, so I would say the meta actually hasn't shifted too much compared to a lot of patches previously. I think a lot of the comps that were at the top are still at the top. Honorable mention, I don't have it here. Xayah is a little bit better. I guess I have her in one of the comps, but it's not a Xayah carry comp. I think she's a little bit better, but I still wouldn't go out of my way to play like Guild Xayah or Ragewing Xayah only carry. I still think that unit is not too good, but you know, if you find yourself in a spot where you roll down a level 7 and you find 3 Xayahs, okay, maybe you can play Xayah this patch. You know, Xayah 2 definitely better than like Corki 1, but still I would not go out of my way to look to play Xayah this patch. That being said, let's get into the top 5 comps that I think are quite strong on this patch and that you should be looking to play every single game. If you can play one of these 5 comps, you would be very happy. And the first one is Syfen Corki. So this is the Syfen variation of Corki, where you run Syfen and Sylas as your front line to get in Whispers and Bruiser, and then you just run a very standard Cannoneers Corki backline with the 2 trainers, Sona because she synergizes so well with Corki and Lulu, and then just Bard as another just really strong unit and also gets you Mystic in because there's a lot of magic damage running around in the current meta. So yeah, one important thing about this comp is you don't really need to build resistance shredding items like Last Whisper or Static Shiv in this comp because you have Syfen and Sylas, and with the Whispers, they are shredding all of the enemy's resists by 40%. So if you happen to build a Last Whisper or a Static Shiv, it's not the end of the world, but that actually might make you want to play the Itis version of this comp, which is exactly the same as this, except you cut out Sylas and Syfen. I don't want to get rid of their beautiful items. You cut Sylas and Syfen, and you put in, you know, I'm going to do it anyway, for just to show things. And, you know, if you want to see their items, just go back in the video a few seconds. And you put in Itis, and you put in usually either a Braum or a Thresh is also really nice. And this is just the Itis version of the comp. And then you just stack Itis up with all the frontline items you can get. Depends on what the Shimmer Scale item is as well. If the Shimmer Scale item is something like Draven's Axe, that's really good. If you get like an early Itis and you can stack up like a Determined Investor and turn it into like a Diamond Hands, you can slap that on Itis and you are hard chilling. So that's something really good as well. If you don't have Morellas on Sona, you can put like Sunfire here. You could even just go like another Gargoyles is totally fine. You could go Bramble Vest. It really, a Dragon's Claw, it really depends on the lobby and what, like how much AP there is, how much AD there is, if you have healing reduction already. But this is what the Itis version of the board looks like. So this is another version you can play. I think that the Syfen board is slightly stronger. So if I could look for one to play over the other, I'd look to play the Syfen board. But I think both are fine. And if you end up in a spot where you're rolling down at level 7 and you have the Corkis but you don't have a front line, and you hit Syfens, play the Syfen version. If you hit 2 Itises, play the Itis version, you know, especially if you like 2-star Itis. So definitely, it's really nice to be able to be flexible with this comp and flex into either version. Something else really important about this comp. Late game, if you're rolling down an 8 and you happen to find a Zoe, this unit is insane if you can get mages in. So something you can do is, say you're playing Zoe over Bard, you can just cut the Tristana and play Heimerdinger. And you still get in your trainers. You drop Cannoneer, but Cannoneer is really not that crucial for Corki's damage. It's really, like, it's fine. You'll get it in if you can. That's why you play Tristana generally. But this version of the comp is very strong because the utility that Zoe brings late game is like unmatched in this set. It's better than any unit if you have 3 mage in. So this is another version of the board that you can play if you get a Zoe late game. So I tend to like to hold a Heimerdinger on my bench when I'm rolling down. If I find a Zoe, just swap Zoe out. And especially if you go in level 9, then you can fit in like a Bard plus a Zoe, and then you're in a really nice spot. So yeah, this is absolutely something that you can do that is quite strong. Okay, so I've spent a little bit of time on this, but I think I've gone into all the important stuff. Corki items. If you play the Itis version, the armor, MR, Shred, like Last Whisper matters more. But if not, then just these items are completely fine. And the items that I put on Syfen were Bloodthirster, Edge of Night, and Titan's Resolve, which I think are all very strong items on Syfen. Syfen really likes having some kind of healing. The Edge of Night makes it so that Syfen doesn't get like one shot sometimes. You know, the enemy will start hitting him, and then he'll drop aggro, and then might be able to get on their back line. And Titan's Resolve just a really good item for any frontliner. And Syfen actually shares these items with another unit that we're going to get into right here, which is Shouyu. So it's really nice to be able to flex between Syfen and Shouyu with this same build. So that's another reason why I really like building these 3 items, because they can flex perfectly between Syfen or Shouyu. I would call them best in slot on both. But this comp is Jade. So this is the other sort of like AD comp, though it's not traditional AD, right? It's like a melee AD carry, and then you play around Anivia to deal some magic damage, and then Nico to just be a really big tank. This is the late game version of the board where you play 6 Jade, and then you can slot in Lulu and Bard for Mystic, and then just Yasuo because he's a really good unit. You can also, if you have +1 Jade, cut Bard, cut Yasuo, or even sometimes cut Lulu, depending on how much you need Evoker. But if you want to, and okay, so make a mental representation of this board. But something else you can do, if you have +1 Jade, is just cut these units, and then easily get in like a Soraka, and then an Ashe. And this can just be a 9 Jade version of the board, and then you'll have another Jade statue, you can put it here, and then you can sort of swap your backline as much as you want. So this is another version of the board that's totally fine to play. I wouldn't usually cut Lulu to play 9 Jade. I think the version of the board, if you don't have +1 Jade, where you're playing around like the other units, like Bard and Yasuo, is much stronger. But if you have +1 Jade, you can definitely look to get in 9 Jade. So that's something to think about as well. Like I said, itemization for Shouyu is this. This is perfect in Shouyu. Other really good Shouyu items are like Giant Slayer, are like Infinity Edge is fine. Quicksilver is mediocre, but you can use it in a pinch. So those are some other good Shouyu items. Nico is going to take all your tank items. Really, really important in this comp. Shouyu items, number 1. Nico items, number 2. And then Anivia items, a very far off number 3. I would absolutely, every single game, take a 3-item Nico over a 3-item Anivia. This unit is fine, but she's sort of like secondary. She's not the main carry. The main carry of this comp is Shouyu and then Nico tanking. Because what happens when you don't have any items on Nico is that the enemy team will blow up Nico very quickly and then end up hitting your Shouyu, which is really bad because Shouyu is not that tanky of a unit. She's relatively tanky, but like, if the entire team is focusing her, you will be in a really bad spot. So this is something to keep in mind. Another thing you'll notice is that I have my Shouyu back here, which is kind of different from how some people tend to position Shouyu. A lot of people say, okay, I'll just put Shouyu up here, like right in front of, or right behind Nico, and then, we'll be chilling. Shouyu will walk up and hit their front line. This is fine against a lot of matchups. If you're against something like an Aurelion Soul, something that is going to AoE your entire team, it doesn't matter really if your Shouyu's in the front or in the back because it's still going to get AoE'd, and you want the fights to go really fast, then putting Shouyu very far up is really good. If you're fighting another Shouyu player, you have to be really careful though, and I would say always put Shouyu in the back line, and I will show you why right here in a team builder where I can actually bring up the entire board. And I'm just going to use, say it's a mirror matchup where we're playing Shouyu and the other team is playing Shouyu as well. And say we have a Shouyu and a Nico, and I'm just abstracting the board for so that we can get through this kind of quickly because I don't want to take all day. Okay, so say this is their positioning and this is our positioning with Shouyu, and so we have items like imagine the rest of the comp exists, but these are the units that really matter here. What's going to happen in this situation? And you could even do something like this maybe. Their Shouyu is going to walk up, our Shouyu is going to walk up, their Shouyu is going to walk up, our Shouyu is going to walk up, their Shouyu is going to walk up and aggro onto our Nico, and our Shouyu is going to, whoops, I just swapped them. Our Shouyu is going to be able to hit theirs. This is how you win this matchup every single time, is by making their Shouyu aggro onto your Nico and making your Shouyu aggro onto theirs, because their Shouyu is going to be hitting a tank and our Shouyu is going to be hitting their Shouyu. So anytime you can put your Shouyu further back than theirs, sort of guarantees that our Shouyu is going to be hitting theirs as opposed to theirs hitting ours. Really, really important. Exactly the same if you're against a matchup where someone's carrying like a Syfen. Exactly the same thing, where if Syfen walks up and aggro's onto Nico and starts hitting her, it's really nice to have our Shouyu hit theirs. Now, Syfen's going to dash away, so it's slightly different. So it's mostly important in the Shouyu mirror matchup, but really, really crucial in matchups where Shouyu might get focused to keep Shouyu this far back. Same thing if you're fighting like a Corki comp or something. If you put your Shouyu here and there's a Corki up here, it's very possible the Corki, Shouyu walks up one and the Corki starts hitting Shouyu. If you have Nico this far up and you have Shouyu this far back, there's no way that Corki's ever going to aggro the Shouyu. It's going to get stuck on the Nico, and then your Shouyu is going to walk up and wreck him. So yeah, that's just a little crash course in Jade positioning, but that's something really important to keep in mind. And that's the Jade comp, basically. So yeah, like I said, prioritize Shouyu items, then Nico items, then if you have anything left over, you can put on Anivia. But these two units really, really important to itemize. And just good openers to play into this. Something really interesting is you can play around Set as an item holder early. So you can play something like a core of Set plus Ashe, and I wonder if I have enough space on this board. Set plus Ashe plus Karma. as your Dragonmancers have set carry Shoyu items, and then you can just get in like any Jade unit, you know, as your 4th unit and get in Jade with this opener. So that's a really cute, strong opener that you can play that carries all the items really well, because Karma can carry Anivia items, and then like the other Jade unit like Nar or Tarek can carry the Nico items. So yeah, really, really good version of the comp there. And I feel, can I fight off a sneeze right now? Okay, I got it. I fought it off. All right. Our next comp is Mirage. This is now head and shoulders above all the other sort of like 4/8 cost carry comps, based upon the fact that they all got nerfed a little bit, and Mirage got nerfed a tiny bit as well, but I would really say came out very well in the nerfs. This comp is kind of broken. If you get anything, I would say, other than Electrocharge as your Mirage and Pirate's Greed, any of the other Mirages are totally strong. The attack speed one, Duelist, is really good. Spellblade is amazing. Executioners, the crit one, is really, really good. Dawnbringers is really good. And I think I'm missing one last one. That's slipping my mind right now. Not sure why. But pretty much everything. Oh, here, they have it. Warlords. Warlords is also very good. So if it's anything but Pirate's Greed and Electrocharge, I would play this Mirage pretty much every time, if I have the items for it, of course. This is a very standard 6 Mirage 4 Cavalier version of the board. If you get +1 Mirage, you can fit in like a Leona for 8, depending on the Mirage if you really need it. Something really crucial with this comp is Deja items, because they change depending on the Mirage, right? So think, when you see a Mirage, think for a second, what items does my Deja actually need? These are very good generic Deja items, but okay. Let's imagine our Mirage is Spell Sword. So Spell Sword is, every time you auto attack, you're going to get extra AP per attack. So we don't need an item that actually gives us AP. What we need is actually an item that helps us auto attack faster. So a Gwinsu's Rage Blade can be really good. You can even do a Rapid Fire Cannon. You can do a Static Shiv. One of these items to make Deja attack faster is really good. Then after that, you want stuff that scales with AP. So something like a Giant Slayer is really nice. And then something like a Jeweled Gauntlet, and your Deja is just going to be one-shotting people. Also, if you are in need of healing in this comp, if you don't have like Celestial Blessing, or maybe there's like a lot of assassins, you can throw in like a Gunblade. So this could be a very, very good build for the Spell Sword Mirage. But think, okay, what if it's like attack speed Mirage? Okay, then you basically don't want to build what the Mirage already gives you, and then just play around it, right? So Duelist Dexterity, you're getting attack speed for free, so I don't need Gwinsus to give me attack speed. I'm just going to do as much damage as possible. Extra attack speed, and I'm getting no AP from any source, right? So I'll put in Archangels here. So Deja can scale up with the Archangels, get a bunch of attack speed, and then just throw huge waves at other people. You can also, even in this one, you don't need the attack speed, but a Static Shiv actually scales really well because you're going to be attacking so much, so you'll be shocking the enemy team. So that's something you can do as well. If it is something like a Dawnbringer's Mirage, fights are going to be going really long, but you don't need a healing item, so you can do something like this. Archangels, Giant Slayer, and Gwinsus. The fights are going to go really, really long, so that gives you time for your Archangels and your Gwinsus to scale up. A lot of people talk about Gwinsus being a kind of iffy item on Deja if the fights don't go long, because until like, I don't know, 16 seconds, 11 seconds in the fight, something like that, Rapid Fire Cannon actually performs better because Gwinsus doesn't have time to scale up with Deja's low base attack speed. The thing is, in the Mirage comp, fights go long a lot. Fights go to overtime a lot. So Gwinsus is actually really quite good in this comp because fights go to overtime so much and fights go long so much. So I would definitely still build this Gwinsu item on Deja. And am I missing anything else? Like Warlords? Warlords gives you a lot of HP and flat AP. So obviously, you don't really need something that gives you a lot of AP. You can just throw something. Why don't you come off? Like a Jeweled Gauntlet on to scale with the AP. With Executioners, actually, this is an important one. Executioners guarantees that you crit. Do not, under any circumstance, build crit on Deja with Executioners, because your crit chance is wasted. Especially if you get to 8 Mirage, you're critting 100% of the time. So any crit chance that you get from something like a Jeweled Gauntlet is wasted because you're always critting anyway. So in that Mirage, you just want to build flat damage, flat AP, this kind of stuff. You could even cut this for like a Gunblade, and then this could just be your Deja items. So yeah, Deja items, they change depending on the Mirage. Outside of that, like the whole comp basically stays the same. So play around these units basically every time with Mirage. Okay, and I know the video is getting a little bit longer. I mean, shorter than my regular videos, but let's hop into the next comp immediately, which is Shyvana. Still very strong. They actually buffed her AI, but nerfed her a little bit. They nerfed her mana, so she's going to start casting a little bit later. But still very, very strong. This is just a generic 6 Ragewing 4 Shapeshifter version of the comp that can duo carry Xayah, but you see I have no items on Xayah because like the Shyvana items are the star of the show here. This is only a comp that you can really play if you go 8 with a lot of gold or you go 9. This is not a comp that you can play around. I would not play around Shyvana carry if you're rolling a lot at level 7 or at level 8 with low gold, because you're just never going to hit Shyvana 2, and you'd much rather play one of these comps around like a 2-star Deja, you know, a 2-star Shioyu, a 2-star Corki and Syfen, than a 1-star Shyvana, because 1-star Shyvana is not it. But 2-star Shyvana, if you can cap out your board late game, is really, really good. So I would only play this comp if I can go like fast 8, fast 9 with a bunch of gold. That being said, very strong. This is best in slot Shyvana, JG, Archangels scale up AP for the JG, and then Morellos to just burn the entire enemy team. If you have some other kind of healing reduction, maybe you have a Sunfire here, you can end up cutting the Morellos just for more damage. Like Giant Slayer is fine. Sometimes I've seen Hodge built. There's a build where you just cut this as well, and you just go Hodge, JG, IE, and you just do like infinite damage basically. So that's something as well that you can do. But Shyvana really just carries any AP damage items really, really well. You can flex into this from any comp that carries an early AP carry. You can even put items on Deja, and then if you get super, super late game, pivot from Deja carry to Shyvana carry. That's something that you can do. The problem is you have to pivot the whole board. So finding things like Gnar is going to be difficult, but you don't have to play Gnar. This is just like the ideal version of the board where you can get in Jade really easily, you get the Nico in, you can get in Xayah to fit the synergies really well. So this is just an ideal version of the board. But yeah, you don't have to play, like, really just Shyvana plus friends is quite strong if you hit a Shyvana. Like, you can just say F all this. Like, your late game board can literally just be like Shyvana, don't have this anymore. You probably want the Ragewings in, so probably play like the Swain, but you don't even need to play the Swain if you're just playing Nico. Like say you don't want to get in 3 Rage or 4 Shapeshifter, you can just play like Shyvana plus Xayah plus like Shen plus friends. So these guys is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units, and then you can just put in like anything, like a Bard 2 and a freaking Yasuo 2, or you can get in Jade with like Soraka, and then you can end up getting in like other Jade units. You could cut Bard for Gnar, and then you would end up cutting this in that scenario for Swain if you could find him, so you get the 4 Shapeshifter actually in. But this is just like another version of the board where you're running Soraka instead of Ashe, because you don't care as much about the attack speed for Xayah, but you want the healing for Soraka, which is really good. But like really, like the only units that are really core are like these 2. And you could play anything. You could play anything with these 2 units. You could literally just stack it up. You could just say these 2 units plus this, plus this, plus this. Throw in like a freaking Talon for Pike and to give you some more AD. And this is 6 units, so we want 1 more unit. Probably not a random Zoe. Probably just like a Gnar for Jade or something. And then you could cut one of these for another Shapeshifter or something. But you could even do just like, 5 costs plus Shyvana and cap out the board like this, totally fine. Oh, it would be Bard, actually. We're missing Bard here. So yeah, just do something like this. Could be totally fine board. With, no real synergies, but you're just playing all the best units, so that's completely fine. So yeah, Shyvana, amazing unit to play around. If you can go fast 8, fast 9, definitely play around her. And then, drum roll please, for, I think, the best comp on this current patch. It's Aoshin, baby. Aoshin's been at the top for so long, and he is still at the top. They buffed him a little bit this patch, so now stabilizing around Aoshin 1 is a little bit easier. He does a little bit more damage at 1-star Aoshin, so you can potentially stabilize around this board on 8 if you high roll an Aoshin 1. Though you'll see it still plays a lot of 5 costs. You get the Zoe in with Heimerdinger and Silas, sort of similar to this version of the comp, so that you can get in Mage, and then also just Bard is an incredible splash late game and gives you Mystic as well. So yeah, it's really just Aoshin plus as much frontline as you can get. You need really good frontline. If you hit an Aoshin on your roll down and you have okay items, but you have like no gold left, you don't have an Ornn one, you don't have a Silas one, it's really tough to play this unit with bad frontline. You can make things work, Like you can imagine a version of this comp where we don't play Bard and we're just playing like a random Nico 2 as frontline. totally fine, because you just need as much frontline for this unit as possible, because if the fight goes to late game, especially with these items, you'll win it every single time. Because if you get to a second Shin cast, as long as their board isn't like Shyvana 2 or something, he's just going to delete the entire enemy team. Archangel's so crucial on this unit. You need a mana item like Shojin. Shojin's the best one because, you know, he's got 160 mana pool, so Shojin is really, really crucial. And then Gunblade is a nice little last item just to heal up. But there's also people who just do something like this, especially if you like Celestial Blessing. You can just do this and it's really good. You can do like a Jeweled Gauntlet instead of this. You can do a Giant Slayer instead of this. But a really, really core, I'm blind, Giant Slayer. Really, really core is the Archangels and the Shojin. If you can't find Archangels and you end up finding like a Death Cap instead, it's a lot worse, but you could probably make it work. But like you really, really want this Archangels. And then just tank items on Ornn. No room for Aushin for healing reduction, so the Sunfire would usually go here. If you're playing Nico, Morellos could go there. Could also potentially go on Silas. But yeah, this is the Aushin board. I think this is the strongest board in the game. If you can get to this board, and this is another board, you can't play for Aushin every game. Do not go into a game of TFT saying, I'm going to play Aushin this game. You can only play Aushin if you have a really good, ideally win streak early, and you're rich. And then you can go fast level 8, fast level 9, and then play around Aushin. Or maybe you get something like it's a Prismatic Lab, and you get level up, and you can go fast 9. Or like maybe a Windfall that lets you go fast 9. But you cannot play this comp if you are just like rolling at 7, rolling at 8. Unless you high roll all the units, then maybe. But like this is really like a rich person's comp, a comp that you really cap the board out high when you go fast 8, fast 9. So yeah, those are my top comps of the patch. Just general feelings on the patch. I think it's very similar to last patch. If you want to know what items I'm starting on Carousel, I'm starting Giant's Built, I'm starting Rod, and I'm starting Bow. Those are my 3 items. Even if you actually end up wanting to play an AP angle, Bow is still quite good, right? Giant Slayer is great in all of these comps. In Shou comp, you always want to build like a Titan's Resolve. So Bow's actually like a totally fine start and actually slams into some really good items. You can also, if you want to force like a Jade comp, Sword Start isn't the worst. I just wouldn't prefer these items. I'd rather start Giant's Build because I can build an Anivia item or a frontline. I can either build Morellos or like a Sunfire for frontline. So if I'm playing Jade, I'd really like to start Giant's Build. I think that's really good. And then if you're looking to flex into like Deja, then like a Rod start makes perfect sense. You can slam these items early, though they're not that great early slams, but you know, they're fine items. So you can also just do Rod start into AP flex. I like that a lot. So Giant's Belt, Rod, Bow are my favorite starts. I think it's still a very slow patch. I see not very many people rolling at 6. So I think if your board is fine at level 6, you can just go fast level 7, fast level 8. So that's something important. And yeah, that's really most of it. Yeah, okay, I'll try not to make this video too long. So I appreciate everyone who watched the video. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out my links down below to my Metafy for my coaching and my Twitch where I go live a decent amount of the time. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Good luck in the climb. See ya.